morning and welcome to the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors meeting for May 14th, 2024. We'll be beginning with closed session report out from last meeting.
Report out from April 23rd, 2024. Item 1, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, County of Calaveras versus Discordia Ranches Limited Partnership et al., Calaveras County Superior Court Case Number 20-CV45113. Forward action, no reportable action taken. Item 2, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one case, significant exposure to litigation, board action, no reportable action taken. Item 3, pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, conference with county designated labor negotiators Teresa Hitchcock, Marcos Munoz, and Judy Hawkins regarding the following employee organizations: Service Employees International Union Local 1021, Sheriff's Management Unit, Calaveras County Public Safety Employees Association, Deputy Sheriff's Association, Calaveras Management Union, Calaveras Supervisors Union, unrepresented employees. Board action, no reportable action taken. Closed session for today, May 14th. Item 1, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one case, significant exposure to litigation. Item 2, pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, conference with county designated labor negotiators Teresa Hitchcock, Marcos Munoz, and Judy Hawkins regarding the following employee organization: Services Employee International Union Local 1021, Sheriff's Management Unit, Calaveras County Public Safety Employees Association, Deputy Sheriff's Association, Calaveras Management Union, Calaveras Supervisors Union, unrepresented employees. Item 3, pursuant to Government Code 54956.8, conference with real property negotiator Marcos Munoz potential purchase price and terms of payment for APN 042-033-014, negotiating party Century 21, Sierra Properties, Jesse Reno Gibbs. Item 4, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one case, significant exposure to litigation.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on today's closed session items? Is there any online?
There are no requests online.
Seeing none, we will recess to closed session and we will return at 9 o'clock. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see so many new faces in the room and here with us today, and some folks who usually don't go with us. It's good to see Public Works in the room and coming on in. So welcome again to the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors meeting for May 14th, 2024. If you are able, will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Supervisor Palmer, will you lead us this morning? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under justice. Thank you very much. We'll move on to staff announcements. Lisa? Sorry, Marcus.
Today, I want to have quite a few announcements. The first being that our last rabies clinic this past week was another successful clinic. We gave over 105 rabies vaccines, along with 52 microchips. So I want to thank Focus, Dr. Brooklyn Sharmer, our staff volunteers for facilitating another successful clinic. The next free clinic will be held on Saturday, June 8th, here at the Government Center. And we are also gearing up for adoption events to be held monthly. We're going to try that out first to have it special events and so forth. So we're really looking forward to that. And then the next big announcement I have is, drum roll. Awesome. Is that we have our animal foster program for our dogs currently live and on site on our website. This program is available for a public review. A huge thank you to Michael Vasquez, our Animal Services Manager, and also Kelly Stefanik with IT for making this happen. So foster care providers are critical to our efforts to save lives by providing temporary care outside a shelter to animals such as those that are too young for adoption, needing to recover from an illness or injury for behavior modification, or just because they need a break from the shelter stressors of normal everyday stressor life. Some of our animals we have for up to 1 year, and so it's necessary for them to be able to get out. Fostering can be a heartbreaking, rewarding, adorable, and sometimes it ends up tragic, unfortunately. But if we can just give these animals just a little bit of time, to be in a home environment, that makes it even a little bit better. You will need to sign and read the foster care agreement. All our applications are available online now, and they're also fillable. You will need to review the foster care program manual, submit a foster care agreement and a cat or dog foster program application, email it, and then submit it to our office located at 901 Jeff Tuttle Drive, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4. You can also drop that off in person if you'd like. Once the required documents have been received, they will be reviewed, and you will be contacted to complete a foster care orientation. So my next announcement is for environmental health. That's one of our other departments we oversee. This is upcoming pool season, which unofficially starts May 31st. And so you might be seeing some of our environmental health inspectors out at our public swimming pools only. We do not do residential pools. Just want to clarify that. So they will be inspecting all the public pools. Last week, we sent out our annual pool newsletter announcement to all our public pool operators, and along with some helpful documents that help them maintain their operations for their public pools. The pool newsletter is posted on our email website and available for public view at our Environmental Management Agency website under Environmental Health. We would also like to thank Sacramento County for sharing their pool newsletter with us and making it available to Calaveras County annually. And that is all I have.
Thank you very much. I think there's a few seats down here, maybe one up front and one over there. If somebody wants to move up there to the back, but let's keep the door closed in the back of the rooms. Mike, come on in. Marcus?
Yes. Good morning, Chair, members of the board. I would like to introduce you to our new OES director, Eric Holt. Eric grew up here and went to school here in Calaveras County before he left to the military, and he holds a bachelor's degree in fire administration and a master's in fire executive leadership. Upon exiting the military, he worked his way up from firefighter up to fire chief. Eric brings to Calaveras County his leadership skills, experience running an EOC, authoring budgets, developing fire prevention programs for a community, and much more. So we are happy to have him on board.
Welcome. Welcome home.
I appreciate it. It is profound to me in my heart to be back home, and I can't wait to serve this community for years to come. So thank you.
Welcome. Sheriff, come on down.
Chair Graham-Andy, how are you this morning?
I'm doing outstanding.
Board members, how are you all doing? I'm glad to see you picked an ODS director that meets the criteria of the mustache. Tradition, Dan. I just am here this morning to introduce our new lieutenant, Tim McCollister from the CHP office. So I just, there you go.
Good morning, my name's Tim. I don't have the mustache. In November, I probably will, once all my guys start to grow on in November every year. But anyways, I'm excited to be here. I took over officially January 1st. Been at the Highway Patrol for 15 years. And I'm excited to be up here and work with the team that we have. And I'm going to come back to the future meeting. I was telling the sheriff I have some stats I'd like to present to you guys. We're doing some good stuff. Last year, we had a really big grant that's really affected our crash picture. And so next board meeting, I'd like to come back and present that to you guys.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Cool.
And thank you
Yeah,
for all
you guys have
the
any English,
sheriff
reach
and
out.
community.
Yeah,
Welcome.
absolutely. Have a good day.
Kathy? Kathy?
Good morning, Chair, Honorable Board, Kathy Galino, Economic Development. I just want to do a little quick announcement that on June 4th, we're going to be hosting our first outreach event for the RESSURF, which was the Economic Resiliency Fund. It's now California Jobs First. So we're going to be reaching out to our community to find out what's important for them in our industries around healthcare, forest health, energy resiliency, and sustainable tourism and recreation. So I'll leave these here. June 4th, mark your calendars. It will be at the Chamber Building, number 7 Main Street, on June 4th at 5:30 to 7:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Other staff announcements? Staff announcements online?
There are no staff announcements online.
Seeing none, we'll move on to recognitions and acknowledgements. Item number 5, Madam Clerk.
Item 5, proclamation, Clerk of the Board of Supervisors, adopt a proclamation recognizing the Calaveras County Fair and Jumping Frog Jubilee, May 16th through 19th, 2024.
Roger, Supervisor Hubbard, you have the gavel.
Thank you, Chair. Whereas the Calaveras County Fair and Jumping Frog Jubilee will be held on May 16th through the 19th. And whereas 2024 marks the 131st anniversary of the Calaveras County Fair, and whereas the first fair of record was held in 1893 in Copperopolis, and whereas the first modern-day frog jump was held in 1928 and is celebrating its 96th year, and whereas the annual fair is a community event which highlights agriculture, the arts, floriculture, and the best of Calaveras. And whereas the Calaveras County Fair generates hundreds of thousands of dollars for the youth of Calaveras County through the Junior Livestock Auction, Industrial Arts Auction, and scholarship programs. And whereas the annual economic impact to Calaveras County exceeds $5 million. And whereas the theme for the 2024 Frog Dump is gold pans and cattle brands, saluting our mining and cattle roots. And whereas the community celebrates together as one, and strangers become neighbors, and children make memories. And therefore, towards the public, do we have any comments? Lori, come on.
Hi, Board of Supervisors. I'm honored to be here. And we are getting ready, we're gearing up for the 131st Calaveras County Fair, or 131st birthday, or whatever, however you want to say that. And I'm so excited just for this event. And I was driving here today and I was thinking, you know, I love when we work together a lot, the fairgrounds and the county, but this time of year we get to do something amazing. It's, you know, we're usually working together helping people or fire camps or animals or whatever those things, but this time of year we get to celebrate, and how awesome that we get to celebrate as a community. And I'm so excited. Our entries are way up. Our junior livestock auction is going to be amazing. I'm kind of sad that the sheriff left because we've redone the old jail. Does anybody remember the old jail that's at the fairgrounds? Well, we've redone that, and then Deputy Pertina, or Sergeant Pertina, came and he even did more TLIP, so you could get arrested at the fair. It's completely up to them. There's wanted posters in places, so yeah, Supervisor Stopper. And we might, as you know, I guess the mayor of Frogtown, I could deputize Chair Garamendi. And then, This could be good. This could be good. So we are so very, very excited. I know the team will be back today to jump frogs. And really excited to be able to be saluting our, our historical industries, which are gold mines and cattle brands. So that's super fun. Had a lot of fun with Martin at the museum. And as I always say, at the park, the museums are hidden treasures in Calaveras County. So if you want to learn more about where you live, come see us this week, and then go to the museums because it's a lot of fun. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Any other comments? Stacy, any comments online?
There are no public comments.
Then I'll bring it back to the board.
Thank you, Lori, for your dedication and so many years of service for the county, and just, you know, your hard work and your heart that goes into all the work, along with the staff and everyone else out there and everyone else that donates. So with that, I'd like to make a motion.
A second?
All in favor? Aye. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors proclaims the Calaveras County Fair and Jumping Frog Jubilee to be the signature event in Calaveras County. Is passed and adopted by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Calaveras, State of California, this 14th day of May, 2024.
This person is.
I'm sure my wife will make a donation towards the taser.
All right, thank you very much, Frog Jump. All right, number 6.
Item 6, Proclamation Public Works. Adopt a proclamation proclaiming the week of May 19th through 25th, 2024, National Public Works Week in Calaveras County.
Supervisor Fallendorf, you have the gavel.
Whereas public work professionals focused on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance of the sustainability and resilient communities and to the quality of life and well-being of the people of Calaveras County. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedication efforts of public works, including road maintenance workers, mechanics, inspectors, delivery staff, administrative staff, and employees at all levels of government. These dedicated employees are responsible for maintaining, rebuilding, improving, and protecting our county transportation infrastructure essential for our citizens. And whereas in the past year, the Calaveras County Department of Public Works has delivered many projects, including safety improvement, roadway surfacing and preservation, striping, signage, new bridges, disaster recovery from winter storms, snow removal, and lighting district maintenance. And whereas stewards of the public interest, the Department of Public Works strives to build and maintain a safe and efficient public infrastructure while protecting the natural resources in partnership with our community. Whereas it is in the public interest for citizens, civic leaders, and children in Calaveras County to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th Annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. And with that, I will open it to the public, and I believe, Robert, you want to speak?
Public Works Director.
The Public Works team is a very lean team, but very strong. They're kind of like special forces. Every member of that team has an important part from just every member. Very visible for us that work within the Public Works Department, how each person is important to the whole effort. The public really doesn't see everything that goes into what we all do together. What they see perhaps is the pothole that takes some time to get fixed, so forth and so on. But just to get that work done, it requires people at the front taking the calls. It requires our financial people making sure we have the funds. It requires our road workers to go out there and do the work, our mechanics to make sure that the equipment is operational. Every member within this department has their hands in repairing the road, even though the public doesn't see it. So this is an opportunity for everyone to see what goes on behind the scenes with the whole team. It's, for me, just something that I've grown up here, I've spent many years here, and I've always seen the team effort. That doesn't change. All of the team is very dedicated to the county residents, and this is an opportunity to recognize them for their dedication. Thank you very much.
Are there any other public comments? Stacy, are there any online? Oh, sorry.
Where's the mic? Oh, you have a full microphone today. You guys have to excuse me, I'm a little bit late. There was a chicken crossing the road out here, and I had to make sure that it crossed the road safely. So, Public Works is in Calaveras County has always been fantastic. They've always gone out there. I think I have one of the best maintained roads in the county. I'm not joking about that. It has been maintained beyond what the usual schedule is. And I thank them for that. My history with Public Works is good, for the most part. I mean, recently there have been some issues, of course. We all know about those. But, when I was a younger person, and I started doing this little thing where I'd go get a cooler, fill it with ice and sodas. Back then it was sodas, now it's water. And I leave it at the side of the road for them. They wouldn't know who left it there. But it was just during these hot, dry days in Calaveras County, you want to do something for the people that take care of you. And that's what I do. So I just want to thank them today. I'm glad that this proclamation has come forward. And I intend on keep on thanking them my own way. Thank you very much.
Are there any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to the board. We got a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone in Public Works. I know that you guys spend a lot of, snow removal and all that, and the hot summer days are coming up, and you're going to be doing a lot of work. So we really appreciate your work and efforts in maintaining the road for the public. So for those of you that are Public Works, would you like to come up here so we can take a photo? I don't know how many people are in the room. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's you. Okay, so we got passed. Therefore, be it resolved that the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors does hereby designate the week of May 19th to the 25th as National Public Works Week and pay tribute to our Public Works employees. Thank you.
That's funny.
Item 7.
Item 7, proclamation, economic and community development. Adopt a proclamation recognizing May 2024 as National Small Business Month in Calaveras County.
Gary, you've got the Supervisor Tufnell, you have the gavel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I see a lot of small business owners in the room today. I've been elected to read this proclamation. Whereas since 1963, wow, that was before I was born, the President of the United States of America has proclaimed the month of May as National Small Business Month to celebrate small businesses for growing the economy, creating jobs, and fostering innovations. And whereas small businesses work hard every day to create 21st century jobs, drive innovation, increase America's global competitiveness, and significantly contribute to our quality of life and prosperity. And whereas more than 32 million small businesses employ half of America's workforce and represent the heart and soul of countless communities. And whereas as part of the National Small Business Month, Calaveras County would like to take the opportunity to recognize local small businesses and outstanding entrepreneurs as the backbone of Calaveras County's economy. And whereas Calaveras County wishes to continue supporting small businesses from local mom and pop shops to innovative startups as pillars of our communities and the engine of our local economy. And with that, do we have anybody that would like to talk or speak, come up to the podium and have, Kathy, come on up.
Good morning, Kathy Galino, Economic Community Development Director. We do have some small businesses here that I think we should honor. We also have Bob Adams from the Governor's Office of Small Business Advocacy here as well. But it's really about the small businesses, so if you would please stand up, let's give you a hand.
Stand up, come on. Anyone else?
Maybe I'll speak on every item. Closed session, what do you call that? Consent agenda too. No, we won't do that today. I've had some small businesses. Problem is, they never stayed small. Right now in Calaveras County, I think it's very, very important that we support our small businesses as larger businesses have come in to our neighboring counties and have taken customers away. It's very important that we look, and even if the price is a little more, consider the service. Consider the service. So with that, I'd like to thank the small businesses, and I do use them. I do use the small businesses in Calaveras County. I visit them, and I try to give you as much business as possible. So I thank you for everything you do for the community.
Good morning, Board. Kate Allen. I am the president of the San Andreas Merchants Association, and I wanted to take this opportunity this morning to thank the board for your support of all of our efforts to enhance and strengthen the business community in San Andreas, as well as enrich the lives of all of the San Andreas residents and our visitors through community events and beautification projects for the community of San Andreas. I also wanted to thank the efforts of the Economic Development Director, constantly looking for growth opportunities and funding sources to help promote businesses and encourage growth in Calaveras County. I also want to thank Public Works for their continued efforts to work with PG&E to continue and complete the underground wiring project through Highway 49 San Andreas. I think these projects, investing into our infrastructure, will help keep our communities current and keep attracting new businesses to our communities, new visitors and customers. And also, of course, the San Andreas Merchants Association is in excited anticipation of the start of the Caltrans Complete Streets project through Highway 49 in San Andreas, and we appreciate your support of the landscaping and beautification efforts of that project as well, to help slow traffic and do some little bit of a revamp and improvement to the aesthetics of San Andreas. This will be super important to the longevity and the vital business community of San Andreas as we're trying to support new economic growth through San Andreas and Calaveras County as a whole. So thank you again. I think our investments in infrastructure for the future are very important to our ability to continue to grow and our business economy to be strong for a long time into the future. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Kate. Any other public comments?
So good morning. My name is Bob Adams. I'm with the California Office of the Small Business Advocate, and I wanted to. I don't have any prepared remarks, but what I do want to say is I want to thank Kathy very much for reaching out and helping to get our relationship put together. And my main focus that I'm really working on right now with our office and with your county is to make sure that small businesses in Calaveras County, Amador County, Tuolumne County, all have the resources necessary to start, manage, scale, and grow. Our job is to bring the resources for the folks in this room to be able to provide the funding necessary and access to capital. And working with Kathy has been a pleasure. And I've even set up office hours in each of the communities once a month, so I'm up here in person, being able to make an impact for small businesses in the community. Small business is what make communities thrive. And I don't have to tell you all this, you know that. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for the time. Our office is committed to assisting in however we can and bringing to bear those resources so that those small businesses that are in these communities start, manage, scale, and grow and thrive. That's what we're here for. So thank you for your time. And thank you to Kathy too very much. Kathy, I appreciate your partnership.
She's right behind you. She's right behind you.
Where's she? Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, he's over here.
Time to come up to Calaveras. Maybe you can make it to our CSE meeting on Thursday remotely. But thank you for making the time to come to Calaveras.
You bet. And as I said, I'm making myself available once a month in each of the counties, especially the Eastern Sierra. It's real important to me. I grew up in the Lodi area and out of Lockford. I spent a lot of time in the area. I fish up here all the time. That's the story I keep telling. I go, I got to keep coming up and fishing so I can help you guys out. But I just really appreciate all the effort that you guys do in the Kathy and all the small businesses do in the community. So thank you.
Any other public comments? Jamie, Valley Springs ABA, represent? No? Okay. All right, bring it. Come up, say something. You represent. Valley Springs.
Baby, I'm just kidding. I love aviating. Sorry, shouldn't have sat in the middle, but I didn't expect to talk. So completely unprepared, but I'm Jamie and my husband and I own the Valley Springs Grocery Outlet. And I too want to thank Kathy Galino because she helped us so much as we came into this county and got started. Gary's been terrific. We got involved with the Valley Springs Area Business Association. You know, I will say it's a good time to own a discount grocery store. The timing was good for us. We came in about 5 years ago, and there's, I don't know if it's quite a recession, but you know, the economic times are not good for people necessarily. But I think that having a discount grocery store in our little town has helped, you know, keep business in town, and I think it's provided a lot of tax dollars for the community, but it's also helped us to work with other small businesses, which is why we got involved. I don't think there's sometimes a lot of disposable income right now. And so Joel and I personally care a great deal about helping the other small businesses in town thrive during this time and at least stay alive. And it's important for us to support them and give back to the community. So anyway, I don't know, I just wanted to say that, you know, I think it's important to help the other businesses around you, and Gary and I are both part of the ABA down there, and we're fighting hard to get the small businesses to get involved and use that as an outlet to grow their business. So I don't know, I love this town. I'm so glad we're here, all of Calaveras County. It's just been a pleasure, and thank you guys for what you do.
Anyone else? See none. Is there anybody online?
There are no online public comments.
All right, so I will bring it back to the board. I'm open for a motion. So moved. So a motion. Second.
Second.
We have a second by Supervisor Hubbarding. I want to thank everybody that's in business here in Calaveras County, a small business. At times get tough, and you know, it's sometimes it's a very difficult struggle. I owned my own business for 30-something years, and it's always the ups and downs that you have to deal with. But if you stay in business for a long time, you learn how to deal with that. And so just keep going. I think all of you are truly appreciated for all that you do in Calaveras County and the services you provide. So with that, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Therefore, be it resolved that the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors recognizes May 2024 as National Small Business Month as a way to celebrate the contributions of small businesses to our local economy, as well as their support of our communities. It is passed and adopted by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Calaveras, State of California, this 14th day of May 2024. And can we get the business owners up here that are here, and we get a picture?
All right, we'll move on to item number 8. our final proclamation of the day.
Item 8, Proclamation Behavioral Health. Adopt a proclamation recognizing May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Calaveras County.
Okay. Supervisor Stopper, you have the gavel.
Thank you, sir. So the proclamation declaring May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month. Whereas creating a safe and healthy community in which all individuals feel comfortable reaching out for the support they deserve is crucial to ending the stigma around mental health. And whereas mental health challenges are some of the most common health conditions in California, affecting 1 out of 6 adults and impacting both the persons experiencing mental health challenges and those persons who care for and love the person facing the challenge. And whereas our mental health deserves the same attention as our physical health, but is far too often overlooked or ignored. This May, during Mental Health Awareness Month, there is renewed focus on the actions we can take to support our own mental health and the mental health of people we care about. And whereas the Calaveras County Health and Human Services Agency Behavioral Health Program is dedicated to enhancing ongoing supports by providing tools and resources to raise awareness and to help break the stigma on mental illness. Public comment. Please.
Good morning, Board. Wendy, Behavioral Health. And I just want to say thank you to the staff and the members that are here today. Thank you for all the work that you do. I read something that said good employees are like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find, but you're lucky to have them. And we have about 70 that we are so lucky to have, and they work hard every day and support the community, about 1,600 members a year, and currently 650 active clients. So they're working around the clock all the time and never stop. So thank you all.
First, I would thank Wendy Alt for the fine work that she's doing with the department, and I think that we all appreciate her. I'm a Beers. My grandmother's Emily Beers, and at the dinner table when she was alive, and my father who is alive, would often tell me stories of a person by the name of Clifford Beers, who was before my time. He had passed away. Clifford was the founder of Mental Health America, or was called Mental Health America at the time. It was the Mental Hygiene Association of the United States or something along those lines. And I have some of his items from his life. He, through that family, the Beers family, mental illness was rife. And so for generations, we have dealt with people that have mental illness, and not only in the family, but outside the family as well. And I can say that even now I deal with people with mental health issues, but and have most of my life. Luckily, I'm only slightly insane. Anyway, I think again, Wendy.
Hi, Fred. My name is Melissa Phillips. I am honored and privileged to be here to speak on behalf of Behavioral Health and the Pure Wellness Center. My name is Melissa Phillips, and I am a Pure Volunteer Facilitator at the Pure Wellness Center. I have been part of the Pure Wellness Center since February of 2023, where I started coming to peer support and socialization. Within a few months of attending groups, I was asked to facilitate an anxiety support group, seeing I had such a passion for the topic and that it would help our peers and center, so I said yes. Since July of 2023, I have been a peer facilitator for the anxiety support group. I believe it has helped the peers and myself a great deal. In many ways, we help each other, offering sharing experiences with trauma and offering support. The Pure Wellness Center has helped me become a stronger person, stronger than I ever thought I was capable of being. Now I facilitate a weekly anxiety support group for peers, family members, and people in the community. The center is a supportive family. The center is a supportive family I love and get love in return. We all need support and love to be able to recover from what life throws at us. That is why I am grateful for the mental health resources and the Pure Wellness Center. Thank you and have a good day.
With that, I'll bring it back to the board, and I just want to say, mental health on many levels, we all deal with it. We all have traumatic events in our life, loss, injury, and just all kinds of different things that we work through. But with our mental health, some of the people that are in the need of the most help, are able to get it through this and facilitate getting to a place where they can stabilize and get to, feel like they're getting what they need. So I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Now therefore be it resolved or be it proclaimed that the County of Calaveras Board of Supervisors proclaims the month of May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the County of Calaveras and commits to increasing awareness and understanding of mental illnesses, reducing stigma and discrimination, and promoting appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illnesses. Thank you.
All right.
No. Unless you want to.
Yes.
No. I just.
All right.
Ready? Okay.
Let's give everybody 2 seconds to clear on out.
I just.
All right, thank you very much. If I could have order in the room again, Lisa? All right, we're going to move on to general public comment. I think everybody knows the rules here. It's going to be 3 minutes. There's no applauding, and this isn't a discussion, everybody's got 3 minutes to come and petition their government. So, with no further, and if you'd like to speak, if you could queue up at the back of the room, that'd make us go quicker through this list. Thank you very much. Carl, you're on deck. 3 minutes.
The new chair of the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors. This is a little gift I got you many years ago. It was for a job that you did as supervisor. You did a very good job of it. You intervened in a situation in West Point on John Eve Trail, where you and a neighbor, I'm trying to think of her name, Deborah Grimes, were able to provide some parameters for where the Native American burial site was, so it would not be disturbed during an abatement. And I probably know more than I should, but thank you very much for doing that. And at that time I meant to, but it was the middle of the pandemic, and we weren't able to do this. Now we are. Still have the original envelope from it. So thank you for that. I hope that I listen to people, and I know what they like and what they do, and I hope that helps you with what you do in your pastime. And I may not be able to be here when the end of your last day here is, but I want you to know that for certain things that you have done, I thank you. You're a good person. Maybe not always a good supervisor at times, but you're a good person, okay? Do you understand what I'm telling you? You're welcome. I guess I'll have a little more time, about a minute to go. Everything's going splendidly. If you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I'm willing to give a little bit, I know this is public comment, but I'm willing to give a little bit of my time here to you folks because there are some things going on in West Point that people may have complained about and to you. So seeing no comments, I will, with my last 30 seconds, say thank you. Thank you to staff, by the way. Happy belated Mother's Day to you that are mothers. And to you, Amanda Fullendorf, District 4, happy Mother's Day. I know it's coming. And I've never had a chance to speak to you, but you seem like a nice guy, Mr. Martin Hupperty, Supervisor Martin Hupperty. Gary, I've known you a long time, and I like that.
Thank you, Carl.
And thank you, Mr. Stopper, for what you do, and hopefully don't do.
Well, yeah.
Take care.
Good morning. I'm House Segala, the Calaveras County Taxpayer Association. And I'd like to comment on a strategic plan. I had the opportunity to go to the strategic plan meeting, which was moderated or facilitated. And it was mentioned at that time that there's two parts to the operation of government, or perhaps any other organization. One is procedures, and the other one is purpose. Well, at the meeting, procedures were covered very well. We discovered that the Board of Supervisors work really well with each other, and also in communication with the public. And this is really commendable. But there was no discussion of purpose. I'd like to suggest a way to approach that for a better tomorrow. In the Constitution, that's the U.S. Constitution, in the Fifth Amendment and 14th Amendment, there's a repeated phrase that not only defines human rights, but also defines purpose of government. And the three words that are repeated there are life, liberty, and property. Again, life, liberty, and property. if you notice and you think about it, all small business and big business depends on government protecting those rights. So it doesn't make sense that, that the purpose of government is the protection of life, liberty, and property. Now let's apply this, if we might. The former planning director wasn't quite sure that this approach is best, but when you make changes in the law that affect property rights, you cannot take property from people without their agreement. Also, a majority of people cannot take property or otherwise abuse people's rights either. If you remember, Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist Party was elected by a majority of people. So it's your security is not a majority. Your security is understanding the basic purpose of government. And I suggest the basic purpose of government is life, liberty, and property. And that clause could be added to every, whoop, I'm out of time.
Out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Russ?
Morning, my name is Russ Lenhart. I'm a licensed land surveyor in the state of California. Last time I was here, I was trying to make a distinction between a civil engineer and a surveyor. And in order to abbreviate that, I'll just state that engineers were removed and disallowed to practice land surveying in 1982. And there was a reason for that, and I could go into that, but again, for the purpose of abbreviation, another important thing to know is that the county surveyor position in the state of California was an elected position. There was never an elected county engineer's position. And the reason that distinction exists is for the law. It's for the purpose of protecting what I was talking about, life, liberty, and property, property being people's private property and property boundary, which is the domains exclusively of a licensed land surveyor. Licensed land surveyor, as a county surveyor, for instance, he can't delegate his authority. So it isn't that the county is authorized to practice land surveying, it's that the county surveyor is authorized to practice land surveying. And he has the jurisdiction, statutory jurisdiction, over certain determinations that are on behalf of the county, which are ultimately on behalf of the public. So that office at the county is the one that answers to the public, not to the county. So he's not in that position, or she is not in that position to uphold some kind of a defense against the public on behalf of the county. It's exactly the opposite. That position is for the advocacy of private property owners and citizens against those precepts that are imposed by people who have no authority. So protection of private property boundary it's critical to relationships in the people, in the citizenry, in the public, the relationships between neighbors. Boundary is, as we know, one of the most important factors when it comes to getting along with one another. So one of the things that the county surveyor's position does is protect what we call the public record. The public record contains, death certificates, marriage licenses, all those different things. When that gets protected by the county recorder's office, which is an elected position, and then all the land records were intended to be protected by the scrutiny of the land surveyor, the county surveyor, so that land records, as they entered into the public record, were assured to be non-fraudulent. Well, we've kind of lost that because we don't have a county surveyor that's actually practicing those statutory duties right now. And I could name several other things about that, but I'm just going to stop right there. It's a very important office, and I think we need to dedicate more energy to that. And again, I'd like to invite you to have me come and speak more about this kind of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there other public comment in the room? Seeing none, we will close public comment. We'll move on to consent agenda, but we're going to take a 5-minute break. Before this, we'll be back here at 10:02. consent agenda. Stacy.
Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request a removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
Thank you. Any board members have consent agenda items they would like to remove? Seeing none, are there any members of the public that would like to remove a consent agenda item in the room? Nope. Anybody online?
There are no online requests.
Very well. Is there a motion?
Moved.
So moved by Supervisor Polter, second by Supervisor Toffenelli. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. We'll move on to the regular agenda. So everybody's aware, we are going to change the order to 29, 28, 30, accommodate Health and Human Services. Those are the last.
Chair, I meant those for the very end.
Yes.
Just to be in that order, though.
We'll put them in that order at the end, so they will come after item 30. Excuse me, 30 is going to be the last item. Yes. All right. So we'll move on to regular agenda.
It's still not clear, sorry.
Okay.
They come after 27.
Yes.
Right,
So it's
right.
27,
29, 28,
and then
30.
We're swapping 28 and
Is that
29.
correct?
Yes, towards the end, yeah.
All right.
Pretty much.
All right.
Yes.
All right, item number 24.
Thank you. Item 24, action item, agricultural, introduce, waive first reading, and authorize summary publication of an ordinance amending Chapter 2.52 Fish and Game Advisory Commission to update and clarify the membership requirements.
Jesse?
Board, Jess Fowler, Agricultural Commissioner and Director of Weights and Measures, and also the liaison for the Fish and Game Commission. I don't think anyone is here. No, nobody's here. So I basically am bringing this item forward for them. They wanted to do a little bit of a change. There is a red line item that was presented as part of the packet. Some just like little kind of grammatical things, but basically the big change is that they would like to, for all the district seats, after 90 days, if they can't fill the position, if they can maybe put an at-large member, because they do have 2 people who are interested in applying, but they're already in districts that it's filled. And this would be something where it would be, again, wait 90 days, then they would fill it, and then if somebody came forward, then they would go ahead and let them know at the get-go that they would then have to step down for that person from that district. But again, this is otherwise the same where you guys would, again, approve the member and everything else, but they're having some issues with meeting quorum, and they've had a vacancy for about 5 years. So that's pretty much it. Can I answer any questions regarding this item?
Stopper, you're our liaison. Anything to add?
It's just in the interest, and I think Ms. Fowler said it well, is this is not permanent to fill any district position so much as until that district has somebody that applies and the board does approve that person. This would be a large member to fit the quorum until that district has somebody within the district that applies for the position.
Any other questions from the board?
I'd love to ask if it's possible, I think this is a great idea. Is it possible for us to do this with other organizations?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the classic lawyer answer that Supervisor Stopper just anticipated. It depends. In this particular case, while state law dictates what a local fish and game commission's purpose is and what they have the powers to do, it doesn't dictate the precise membership. So it's something that the board can adjust via ordinance like you're being asked to do today. Other bodies may have statutory requirements. The state may require certain things. So, but if there are individual committees or commissions where the boards are having that issue, that's certainly something we can explore. I'd be happy to talk through it.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, is there any online?
There's no online public comment.
Very well, I'll bring it back to the board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Stopper, second by Supervisor Toffenelli. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, number 25.
Item 25, resolution, animal services. By a roll call vote, 1, find project exempt from CEQA. 2, adopt a resolution authorizing submittal of a grant application for fiscal year 24-25. And 3, authorize acceptance of the state grant in the amount of $200,000 from the California Natural Resources Agency for Animal Shelter Operations Improvement Projects.
Thank you. Lisa?
Good morning again, Chair and respective board members. Lisa Medina, Environmental Management Agency and Animal Service Director. So today before you, we have a resolution, just as Ms. Stacy said, accepting the grant funds from the Natural Resources for the state of California. This grant was secured by Senator Alvarado Gil back in February, so we're very grateful for that. This grant will improve and enhance shelter operations. And what we are looking to do is do some security items along the shelter perimeters, also looking at a vehicle. Before I state this, we've had an update. The grant agreement came over late in the late part of this submittal, so that will be presented again before you on the 28th for the final grant execution agreement signing, and we're going to be asking permission for the CEO to sign that grant. So some of the other things that we're looking at include the purchase of livestock paddocks. As everybody knows, sometimes we never know what we're going to get. Currently, we have several pigs, but in the past we have received emus, horses, llamas, all kinds of different livestock, goats. So we're looking to secure those livestock animals in a better place. We're also looking at, of course, an animal service vehicle. We are in desperate need of a vehicle, and some of those enhancements include the animal cage, the installation of a laptop, and along with all the different equipment associated with that. These vehicles are very expensive, and so that is one of the primary courses that we have for that grant is the purchase of the vehicle. We're also looking at some radios and communication for our shelter volunteers to better assist with communications as well. So that is what we have before you today, and I will see you back in a couple weeks as well. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions?
I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Alex, who's sitting in the back of the room, to whom this grant would not have been possible if you hadn't put your voice forward, so thank you.
Yes, thank you, Alex.
So as I understand this is we're going to see this again on the 28th.
Yes, sir.
Our final approval. So if there are no other questions from the board, is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none in the room, is there any online?
Can I make a
Excuse me,
public
sir?
comment? Sorry.
Certainly. Sir, you have 3 minutes.
It won't take that long. I just want to go on record as saying I kind of find it humorous that you guys have to get an approval to accept this money that was given to you last October before the check bounced. So you accepted the donation in October of 2023, and now it's May of 2024, and we're just now saying it's okay to take the money. That just seems to me ludicrous.
Thank you. Is there other public comment in the room? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Is there a motion? Further discussion? Moved by Supervisor Hubbard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fallendorf. All in favor?
I'm sorry.
Aye. Opposed?
We do need to do a roll call vote for this item?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We'll do a roll call vote. Madam
In
Clerk?
order? Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. District 1,
Aye. Excuse me. Aye.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
District 4, and District 5.
Aye.
Thank you.
Carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, move on to item 26.
Item 26, informational item, Administrative Office, receive an update from the Administrative Department regarding the design and construction document options for the new animal shelter.
Marcos?
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Marcos Munoz, Assistant County Administrative Officer. At the March 26th meeting, administration presented a contract for approval for the entire animal shelter. At that meeting, there were questions and concerns regarding the capacity of the shelter along with the price of the design, development, and construction documents. After discussion, the item failed due to a lack of a motion. And then at the April 9th meeting, the board directed administration to work with the architect to see if there was anything that could be removed from the design document in order to reduce the cost. Additionally, administration was directed to bring back a second option of plan specific to the dogs. So in this item, there's two options. One is for the dogs. That option specific to the dogs is priced at $565,000, and it is approximately 5,350 square feet. Additionally, the full design is priced at $775,000 and is approximately 10,300 square feet. Both options have similar capacity for the dogs. At the start of this process, we worked with UC Davis to determine the capacity needs here in Calaveras. Capacity has a direct link to length of stay. The longer an animal stays at our shelter, the more capacity is needed. After review, it was determined that changing our business hours, updating our policies, and creating a foster program would all contribute to reducing our length of stay. The Animal Services team has done a great job moving those administrative updates forward. When it comes to the facility, the environment contributes to the length of stay. In a facility that is unwelcoming and not set up correctly, it adds to the stress of the dogs. A dog who is stressed out tends to have longer lengths of stay. What I'm trying to say is that a new facility that is set up correctly, it becomes more inviting to the public and reduces the overall stress of the animal, which makes them more adoptable, reduces the length of stay, and in turn frees up space in the shelter. Even though the shelter is relatively the same size, the modernization of it allows for a flexible space so that we can have up to 33 to 37 dog habitats, even though our pure kennels are at 27. And by reducing the stress of the animals, we're reducing the length of the stay, also freeing up space. So before you today, again, there's two proposals, one for the dogs, one for the full shelter. So we are looking, administration is looking for direction today, if you would like us to move forward with one of those two, or if you would like us to keep pursuing additional options.
Thank you. Other questions from the board? All right. Seeing there's no questions from the board on this information-only item, are there public comment on this? You have 3 minutes. If you'd like to speak, if you could queue up, that would be appreciated. Makes us move quicker.
Good morning. We all recognize that particularly the dog facility is a disaster, and we're at a critical juncture as far as building a new shelter. And I've heard a lot about this is a funding issue. We don't have the funds to do this. And I personally am of the opinion that our funding issue is actually a consequence of lack of planning and lack of priorities. Because through all the years, actually the decades that we have been getting negative grand jury reports and had complaints about the shelters and difficulty with the shelters, successive boards have been able to build a new jail, build a new courthouse. You're currently working on the Wagon Trail project, and you have just put up a lot of money for the new DA's office. So what this tells me is we have funds, we have time and energy and can find funds. It's not a priority to do that for the animal shelter. So I would urge you to approve this motion. And I would also urge you to, in the upcoming budget process, make the new shelter your first priority and find the funds to do this. And Gimme Shelter, our group, and notice it's construction orange. We picked that color on purpose. We want to help you and are willing to help you and have already started fundraising. But we need you to meet your responsibilities towards providing an adequate shelter. And we need you to provide leadership. And then we can help too. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there other public comment in the room? Come on now.
My name is Alex Sagewalker, and I was at the meeting with Marcos Munoz and Teresa Hitchcock, and they really informed us about what was going on, and I just strongly urge you to please pass this. Also, I just wanted to thank you, Martin, because you've been helping, and Martin and I have had several emails and phone calls trying to get through to different politicians to get money, which we're still working on, but we keep getting they keep brushing us off, but we're unrelenting. So I just want to urge you, please, please pass this and let's get this new shelter built. And this will be the board that will go down in history that you built this beautiful new shelter, and it'll be such an improvement to the entire community. People will start coming and adopting animals, and it's just positive all the way. And to stay in the conundrum that we're in now, especially with the dogs, that's where my heart is the terrible conditions the dogs are in. It's just will elevate everybody's spirits, especially the volunteers, dog walkers. So thank you.
Thank you. The public comment, sir.
Just want to go on record agreeing with what Ms. Sage-Walker said, that the county has got to realize that there is a priority here. And if you can understand how much money these organizations, FOCA, Gimme Shelter, the Cat Alliance, has been saving the county over all the years. What were the numbers of the volunteer hours last year? There's thousands of hours are donated to this animal shelter, unfunded by the county, 100% volunteers of people that are coming out here. So if the county wants to take the responsibility of actually hiring staff to do this job, you'd be paying out tons and tons of money. But you've got enough animal lovers in this county that are trying to make the animal's life a little better, and we hope you are among them.
Okay. The public comment in the room. If you'd like to speak, if you could queue up, I'd appreciate it.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Arntz. I'm a volunteer with the Mother-Lode Feral Cat Alliance. I've been a Calaveras County resident for 40 years. I've spent all of my adult life working to make the lives of animals better. I'd like to give my take on the existing shelter's shortcomings and what needs to happen to fix them. One big problem is the low adoption rate. It's low because people don't come to the shelter because it's so unattractive and unwelcoming, and it has a bad reputation too. The length of stay for dogs and cats is worrisome. The shelter's good reputation, along with attractive, welcoming facility and people-friendly hours, brings people in. The Calaveras Humane Society and Amador County Shelter are two good examples of shelters that do that. The new shelter needs to be a maintainable size and have a robust foster program along with outreach programs to boost adoption rates. We may not need a significantly larger shelter if adoption rates are higher. I think we're all in agreement on that. A bigger shelter will also take more staff to maintain. If the facility is welcoming and attractive, adoption rates will be higher. They keep shortening the length of stay. Yes, the nearly $800,000 for the design plans and the overall cost of the whole shelter is a lot of money, but I question whether it's possible to have it done for less, especially considering that the money and time we've spent so far would be wasted if we have to start over. And in that case, we risk having to spend even more money and waste more time. We urge you to please consider voting to go forward with LDA's plan for the entire shelter project. We recognize the need for fundraising and are prepared to launch a massive fundraising campaign. Let's get this done. Thank you.
Ma'am?
Obviously, I'm part of the Gimme Shelter team. We're a group of community animal volunteers to build solely a brand new facility. I urge you to do the right thing. Before you decide, please listen to us. It may change the way you respond. Please, before you react, think. It may change how you react. Before you judge, please wait. It may change your views. Before you quit, try. It may be the best thing that you do. All animals have the ability to suffer in the same way and to the same degree that humans do. They feel pain, pleasure, fear, frustration, loneliness, and parental love. Whenever we consider doing something that would interfere with their needs, we are morally obligated to take them into account. All animals need more than food, water, and shelter from the elements. Animals need more. They need to be deserved loving care, regular human contact, respect for the individuality, and opportunity to play and run. This is our moral and ethical duty. The staff and volunteers are heroes. They give their best without the needed tools to provide necessary animal care. You can't put a Band-Aid on a shelter that is entirely inadequate animal care. We urge you to make the correct and moral, ethical decision moving forward with this project. Do you want to be a hero too? Make the right decision. Build a new shelter now.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, my name is Holly Fee. I am what I would consider a replant. I was born and raised in Calaveras County, and I left for many years. I'm also what you might consider a foster fail. I started with volunteering with this fabulous group, and now I'm lucky enough to be employed through the county, part-time as one of the first support systems to give additional support, an additional hire that wasn't even an option years ago. What I've witnessed is pretty astounding in the fact that when I was a child, I used to come and visit the shelter in that concrete building where it was all just one place. And on Fridays, I knew that come Monday, there weren't going to be any dogs left. And if my mom didn't let me get a dog on that week, that I knew that those dogs weren't going to be there the next day. I know that's changed, and I cannot commend the county for doing such a great job in changing those principles and not having a high kill shelter anymore. I spend a lot of my day talking to the public when they call, reminding them that we are not a high kill shelter, and reminding them that we are here to make these dogs and these cats and these livestock's lives better every single day. I think what I learned from the last Board of Supervisors meeting in regards to this issue was that we seem to be stuck on quantity, not quality. And I think that if we look at any shelter across the country, there's never going to be enough beds. Whether we're talking about human lives or animal lives, we're always going to have a shortage. So I think we need to focus on the quantity and what the public thinks. And I am speaking directly to the public on a daily basis when I answer the phone and really re-educating the public what this shelter actually is. We're not the Humane Society, we're government funded. We've got an amazing team, not only staff, but volunteers. And I think we need to get off the wagon of quantity. We're not gonna have enough beds ever. So let's try to make it a better place. Let's raise public awareness. Let's really get out there and let the public see that we're doing a great job and that we're not the shelter of the 70s and the 80s that a lot of people in this county still believe. And I think even moving forward in a little bit with just the dogs, just that facility is really going to be a huge step in closing the gap of miseducation in our county regarding our facility. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, my name is Margarita Wickman. I live in Angels Camp. And even though my husband and I, we have owned a house here for 20 plus years, we just moved to this area 2-3 years ago. And we were made aware of the animal shelter and the condition, but we like to see it with our 2 eyes. So we visited the shelter, and let me tell you, I was appalled. We spent about an hour talking to the volunteers, talking to the people that were there, and being exposed to the situation, the condition that these dogs are maintained. I was so mad. And then when I started listening about Debbie Buford, that she's been working for 20 plus years trying to get a new place for these dogs. And that because of excuse 1, excuse 2, 3, 4, excuses, excuses. That's not acceptable. During that hour that I was there, I witnessed two families that came looking for an animal a dog to adopt. The noise where those dogs are kept my watch was giving me the warning. The noise was too loud. These families got, tired, I guess. The solution with the condition that these dogs are kept on, and they left. There's not an area where they can enjoy, socialize with a dog that they may be considering adopting. So they left without adopting anything. So what I'm asking you is, enough of excuses. All of you are intelligent, educated professionals. And I'm pretty sure that you can make this happen. And let's don't look at, let's make it smaller. You will be in the same condition in 5 years. Not enough beds for the dogs, not enough kennels. So just get the money together. Like Ann was talking about, you have found the money for this and that and this and that. Find the money for these dogs, for the employees that work there, for the volunteers. You can do it. We can do it as a county. But it's up to you. And like Ann was saying and other ladies were saying, do you want to be the supervisors, the board of supervisors that make this happen after 20-some years? I think this shelter should have been rebuilt since the 70s or the 80s.
Ma'am.
So yes.
Thank you.
So, sorry, and please, I urge you to do it.
Thank you. Other public comment on this item. This is not an action item today. It's informational. Seeing none, is there any online?
There are no online requests.
Thank you. Bring it back to the board for discussion. Supervisor Toffenelli.
Thank you very much, Chair. Is there anybody from this entity here today?
From LDA, yes. We have.
I just have a couple of questions for you to clarify. The overall design for the whole facility, the square footage is 10,300 square feet. And for that, you were at 798, we're down to 775, and I appreciate the work that you put into this to get to that point. But the dog shelter portion of it is about half that. But yet the cost for the dog shelter is way up here versus it's like 565,000 versus 210 for the other half.
Correct.
Why is that?
Sure. I would anticipate that question. Problem is the dog housing is by far and away the more expensive part of the entire facility and has the most infrastructure. And even when we do a first phase of facility, that's where the vast majority of all the building infrastructure and the parts of the building that make the building work. The electrical service, the electrical panels, distribution, the plumbing, sizing, capacity, all that goes into the first phase, if you will. So that's why the majority of the cost is in that. It's one of those things where you parcel out a project, the sum of the parts unfortunately does not ever equal the whole.
If we go ahead and give staff direction to go forward on the $565,000 dog shelter portion today, and we move forward with that, will the 210 still be there a year from now if we want to go forward?
Most likely not. So the problem is when you parcel off this as a separate project, then it's like, from a contractor standpoint, it's a separate move-in. There's additional cost as part of that. And so if we were talking about a year from now, I would anticipate that 200 and change to be more expensive because it's a year from now, the additional costs have gone up from the consultant team and the design costs. So I would expect that number to go up.
Substantially in just a year? I mean, I'm trying to.
Sure, and I understand where you're trying to get at, for sure. It's a little difficult to say. I mean, if we had an inflationary period like we had a few years ago, it could be substantial, of course. One of the things that we were looking at, if we were going to do a full design, if you will, the 770, we were looking at doing an alternate portion of that. So you would have a base bid, if you will, of the dog portion, where you have a cost from a contractor to do just that portion. Also, you'd have the cost to do the remainder, which is the administration of the cats. So you'd get a construction cost of that, so you know what that cost would be. But from a design standpoint, if we're talking a year, 18 months, 2 years from now, it could go up by 1.25, 1.5 times. I just don't have the crystal ball to give you a very accurate number on that.
Yeah, well, I understand the construction part of it and that, but it's just the design, it's just, okay, thank you very much.
And I haven't answered any other questions from the members.
Go ahead, Ben.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Papanelli. I mean, overall, I mean, if we're thinking about the building, because, financing is a very real thing when it comes to it. I mean, all these other projects that you brought up, specific money. We can't use it for anything else. It's not like we went and used it for this or that moving forward, and we could lose this to an animal shelter. This is real money that we do, and I believe it's every intention of every board member to move forward with this, with all their heart. It's just, how can we get the best for animals in Calaveras with what we have now? So with that point, is there any way of moving forward with the design for the whole with the idea of parceling out the dog part first in the future? That way, we have a design for the whole, and then we can move forward on the parts going forward as we can, and getting them done sooner, because the point is, like, it's needed to be done for 20 years. And we all know that, and we take on the responsibility coming all these board members now, right? And of what past boards didn't take care of. So my interest is, let's get a section done, before the prices go up, because that's a guarantee. It's only going to cost us more in the future. So if we can get part of it done with the hopes of getting more money in the future, I would like to do the whole design and work forward on the parcel out from there. That's my idea on how to move forward.
Martin, go ahead.
I'm kind of a bird in the hand versus two in the bush kind of guy. And I find it very hard to believe that we can't find a better way of making the lives better for these dogs for $4 million. That's what I've struggled with, and why I am where I am. In talking to Alex and to Debbie, I understand. I understand how everybody feels about this, but I guess I go back to filming and a script, and you get a script and everybody's super happy and thrilled, and then you get the budget for it and it's $180 million. Well, you've got $28 million to spend. I'm totally willing now to go forward and do these plans, but I want you to know that you're also giving up the opportunity of the money that you have right now. That's what scares me, because ultimately it's going to take years to get this money, and it's going to be a lot of money. We're talking $13 to $14 million to build this facility. So where I struggle is, you've got the opportunity now to do something with the money that's there. But given the way that California's going and the time it's going to take to raise these funds, it's going to be a battle. And I can't say that 5 years down from now, if we're able to get the money, whether these plans, I mean, that's a question for Eric, is are these plans going to hold? Or are we going to have to redesign it too? That's it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ned. Go ahead, Gary.
I'm in favor of moving forward for the whole thing too. I agree with what Ben was saying. I think we have the plans in our hands in the fire facility. Just get that done and have that in our hand. And then look at putting the different sections together, the dog shelter obviously first. But once we have the property set aside, and once we have the plans in our hands, the architectural, the structurals, the construction drawings, we have a project. We have a project in hand ready to go, and it would open up for us to at least look for grants. Get grants to construct the shelter, and there's a lot of grants out there for construction. We have our money to contribute that we can go into it and we can go forward with it. But again, grants are based on having a project, not something that's not out there. Once you have it in hand, which I think we need to do, we could open up to where we could get funding to move forward to construct this. So I'm in favor of everything that Ben said, and thank you for bringing it up. I'm in favor of moving forward and spending the $775 to get every document we need to move forward as a project.
Supervisor Fullendorf?
I agree with Ben as well, moving forward with the entire plan to move to get the design in our hand. To Martin's point about funding, we can wish that we want something bigger, but we also have, which we just approved in the previous item, CEQA exemption. And so if we continue to keep pushing for something bigger, then it is going to be more cost to this, and we'll not see anything because we'll have to settle the CEQA mitigations. And right now, because it's within the footprint of the existing area, we can go for an exemption on CEQA, and it greatly reduces that cost. That would otherwise be addition. And to Martin's point, we want something more, but if we don't do something now, that money is we're not going to be able to get it anywhere at all. And I think we need to start, I like the portion out pieces, making the priority of the dog kennels, and then moving on to the rest of it.
Thank you. Marcos, I have a question for you. What is the current price put forward by LDA for a dog shelter alone?
The price for the dog shelter is approximately $7 million.
The whole thing?
That includes the soft cost and the hard cost. And then for the full shelter is just under $11 million, and that's what it's estimated at.
So I want to point out that we had this agenda item and we did not get so much as a motion to bring this forward. And the agenda item that we looked at is not a lot different than what we're looking at today. We're talking about spending a quarter of all the money, almost a quarter of all the money we have to come up with plans for a project that we will not build. So we could build something for $4 million and it's going to make everybody unhappy, but we'll get something. Or we could spend a quarter of that total money on a plan that will be sitting on the shelf in a decade to get to 13 million, even to get to 7 million. And I'm sorry, but I don't believe that Calaveras County is going to raise the $3 million we're going to need just for the animal shelter. So I think we'd be throwing good money after bad. And, it'd make all you happy to have a plan on the shelf. But you want a plan on the shelf or you want something built? So until we find a price, till we see a motion or an item that brings us down to what we can actually afford to do, and I don't think this is a good idea. This is $4 million that we've designated for this project that can be used on any project in the county. We could build parks with it, we could build roads with it, we could build childcare facilities, we could do anything with these dollars, and we're choosing to do this, which I support. But I believe that we should build something, not talk about building something and throw money down a rat hole. So I'll leave it at that. So we're supposed to give direction to staff. Anybody want to try to summarize?
I didn't hear what Martin wanted to say about direction yet. Sorry.
I mean, in my heart, just seeing the way California is going and budgetarily where we are, we're going to be forced to use this money for something else. And that's just, I've only been in this position a year, but from what I see, what it costs and how things, the costs escalate on things, I go back to I'm a bird in the hand kind of guy. We have the opportunity now. We have the money to do something. I can't believe that we can't figure out how to make these dogs' lives better for $4 million.
Marcos, that $12, $13 million used, that was for the whole facility, correct?
Correct.
That wasn't just for the dog shelter.
Correct. It was estimated at, believe it was 10.8 million, so just under 11
For the dog
for
shelter?
the whole entire thing.
For the whole, so
Yes.
how much for just the dog shelter?
Including soft cost is approximately $7 million.
So that includes the plan.
Correct. So
That includes the plan. So would you reconsider if we just went after the dog shelter part of 565 and got those plans and moved forward with that and to get that constructed? Again, we would have a project in our hands. And I understand what Supervisor Hubbard is saying about the state of California and where we're at, but there'll still be some grants that are out there. We're talking about other grants here, and we've had some on our previous consent agenda, that there could be money out there to add to the 3.5 that we have to get to what we need for this animal shelter. And we could possibly look at maybe doing some things once we get the drawings in our hands that could reduce the construction cost also. I mean, I'm in agreement with, I've been on this board for a long time. We need to do something here. And unless somebody comes forward with a $4 million project, we'll still be here going on and on with it. I mean, we need to move forward as far as I'm concerned.
Supervisor Stopper. I'm sorry, Gary.
Okay.
You know, the money thing is very real, Mr. Gurman, and I wholeheartedly feel you, and you know, just everything going through the bureaucracy and getting to a project within any government institution right now is insanely overexpensive. I mean, after building homes and commercial buildings for over a decade of my life, you know, working in it and seeing what actually goes into it and the requirements that we have to go through as bureaucracies, insanity. That said, I think we have some opportunities. We'll have to make some hard choices in some other areas that may not make some other people very happy. But I think we have some opportunity for some money elsewhere in the near future that could fill that void possibly for the dog portion. And I, you know, I don't see any way in the near future without the state suddenly coming with a godsend grant, you know, but having a shovel-ready project, Mr. Toffenelli is absolutely right. You can go after grants, but if you don't already have a shovel-ready project, that makes all the difference in your potential of being granted the grant at that position. So I'm willing to go forward with the entire part and having the plan moving forward with the intent of moving forward with the dog shelter portion in the future. And I can't promise you that's going to happen because we don't know what the economy is going to do and everything else, but that's my intent as one of these board members. So that's my proposal. I would look to have enough board members follow me on that for direction.
Okay, so the proposal put forward by Supervisor Stopper, as I understand it, is to bring back an item to this board for a full plan. They're recognizing 700, well, we'll see what the final number is when it comes back in the contract. Is that what the consensus of this board is? Is somebody gonna make a motion when it comes?
I got it.
It's informational. It's
No, but when it comes back, since last
when it comes back.
no one moved.
Right.
Yes.
Could I just ask really quickly, for a show of hands, how do you still feel about this, the people? Do you still feel that we should go for the 700 and the full plan?
You should, because if you.
Excuse me, show of hands.
Show of hands.
We don't usually do this.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
Wait, one hand.
All right, so we've got a direction from staff. Supervisor Stopper, you've made that direction. Supervisor Toffenelli?
Yes.
Supervisor Hollendorf?
Yes.
Supervisor Hubbard?
Yes.
And I'm a no. Thank you. Folks, this is a,
Can I come back on the 25th? It'll be back here on the 28th of May.
So, okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item 27.
Item 27, action item, building. 1, authorize a transfer of $100,000 from the building reserve, and 2, authorize a general fund contribution up to $143,700 to offset building department revenue shortfall. Requires a 4/5 affirmative vote of the board.
Mr. Oliver, your item.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. You thought the last item was tough. What I'm bringing to your board today is something that every building official dreads, but most of us have lived through 2 to 3 times in their career. What we have is a significant revenue shortfall caused by changes in the construction environment, and what I'm bringing you basically is a bucket of bad news and then a really hard ask. So I want to break down the history and so we all have an understanding of what we're heading into here, what the long-term picture looks like, and then what we're asking for today. As many of your board members are aware, especially those in construction, we have a construction cycle of waxing and waning projects based on revenue, based on construction loan rates, based on the economy. In previous cycles, it was tied directly to greater economic changes. When I first came on board as a permit technician many years ago, they were recovering from the dot-com burst back in the late 90s. 2008, I was a building official in Tuolumne County trying to start recovering from what was clearly going to be a downward spiral after 2007 when the housing market burst. What we're seeing now is a similar scenario. As your board is aware, I brought a budget forward for this fiscal year, planning on with increased revenue and fire prevention program that we were going to start. I was looking at potentially $2 million of revenue. Based on a 3-year projection, I was anticipating that the permit numbers would stay stable. We're heading into the mid-year budget. It became clear that revenues were not coming in, which caused me to go back to 2005 and identify that cycle a little clearer. And what we noticed is that between the 2005-2006 fiscal year and 2006-2007, we had a $900,000 drop. It was a very steep drop, followed by another 3 years of steady significant reduction. The market started recovering, and heading into 2019, we did see some reductions, but we had some fee adjustments, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, we had 1 year of stagnant activity, followed by a significant increase. That increase was related to people moving from the cities, moving into this county, renovating homes, and seeking other environments to live in that they felt were safer. And then heading out of 21-22, we saw the downturn. We didn't know where the bottom was, but we planned that potentially we can save this, bring it in at about $1.4 million, because we didn't think it was the bottom yet. Now we're very certain that this is the big drop, and revenue just has not come in. And bottom projections at the end of this cycle, the drop is about 1.2 million. So what that tells me is that heading into the next 3 years, we're going to continue to see a small decline. Over the next 3, we're going to see a little bit of permit activity drop, because I think this is the shelf. Of course, this is my best guess based on past experience. You'll see on the revenue totals I provided to your board, we have the curve projected, and you'll see the dip and that little false increase from COVID and from the 2021 fiscal year. could have indicated that that was the bottom. It wasn't. And we're where we're at now. So revenue hasn't come in even at the mid-year readjustment levels. The mid-year readjustment, we projected a reduction of $790,000, which means we drew from our building revenue fund, that is what is there for. I've discussed with your board a couple of times that we build the building reserve fund throughout the course of this cycle so that when there is an economic drop, we can afford to maintain staffing as long as we can and make adjustments in staffing over time. We have used that fund. It is gone. So what we're asking from your board today is to authorize the remainder of the building reserve, that last $100,000 be transferred, and also a contribution of $143,000 of general fund money so that we can end this fiscal year with the staffing we have. Moving forward, I've already informed staff that we will be bringing a significant change at your preliminary budget for recommendation that is we've already told staff that we don't have the workload, we don't have the revenue, and there's certain staff members that we will not be able to maintain anymore in this department. And we are currently working on finding ways to maintain service with staffing reductions and plan forward for the next 3 years as further revenue declines happen and we are forced to make other decisions. And so I plan on bringing to your board a clearer picture June 11th for the preliminary hearing on the budget, and seeking further guidance on not just staffing options, but service options for how we are going to get through this significant downturn in the construction market. Is there any questions?
Not so many questions. We've talked about this a little bit already, Doug. I really don't see much of a choice around the recommendation moving forward for the time being, other than I do have, if the board will let me, I do have a little bit of a amended motion to that. But I've talked to Stanislaus County and Amador County, and there has been a downturn, but not as significant here. There's multiple factors that go into this. Part of it is the infrastructure within Calaveras County. Part of it is the transition. It's taken years for us to restructure the building department, and you get it to the point where you have trained people within it. And from the past experience from people, a lot of them are like, it's not so business friendly in the past when it came to contractors. A lot of them are doing work outside the county, even though they would prefer to work here and they live here. A lot of them are it's just easier to do business in Stanislaus and Amador counties for a lot of them. And that's what they tell me directly. I think moving forward, we need to definitely have that discussion, because we're bringing stuff back here soon about like permit fees and everything else. But about how we're going to move forward with the building department, and structure is key. So I think we need to have a longer discussion on that. But right now I don't see any way around these numbers. Our hands are tied. So provided that nobody else has questions and you let people have public comment, I do have a recommendation on a motion later on this.
Yeah, I just have some comments, and whatever reason, I don't see any way around this either. We need to maintain the building department and move forward. But I'm looking at the budget, and one thing really when we go into preliminary budget, which we're going to be going into really soon, because this is only going to get us through till June 30th. Then we got to start a new year with no money, so we're going to start going into general fund to start the year. But I would like to see a budget that's more realistic, because I'm looking at what this last year's budget was, and the CEO recommended for your revenues for total license permits and franchise fees, $1,415,000 was the recommendation. At final budget, it was jumped up to $2.186 million. And you go back to what's presented to us here today, and you've only brought in that 2.1 million, 1.283. So we need to realistically look at that when we go into the next budget, and the recommendation that comes, anything that wants to go above that, we need to really have a really good discussion on that. And I'm not trying to shut down anything on thing, I'm just trying to get realistic when we go forward, because it is a vital department in our county. The whole department as a whole, not only the building part of it, code enforcement and everything else that goes involved in it. So that's just my comments, that we go into preliminary budget, that we really look at those numbers.
Comments from the this is an action item. Public comment in the room. Public comment in the room. Is there any public comment online?
There's no public comment online.
Seeing no public comment, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion and motion. Brad Stopper.
You know, part of it is working towards a structure that's being more business friendly. So on top of transferring these funds, why don't you put the darn business card thing back up in your office? I'm serious, it's been down, and I've had discussions with so many people that want that back up. And I know that we can't support any certain business, and people make it hard, Doug. But that right there is part of pushing economic vitality throughout the county. And as part of this, I want to give you the money so we can keep you going and stay afloat and start working towards, making things work better for you. And I want the business card thing to back up for the people in the community.
Let me ask you a question. Doug, are you able to put that up without putting it into a motion, or are we going to have to put it in the motion? The business card board.
Well, let me explain the business card component before we decide that, because I can put it back up. But the concern is two items really. One, the building department should be neutral in all cases. We should be supporting construction. We should be facilitating the built environment and facilitating safety in the built environment. What we should not be doing is generating any perception that we are playing favorites with which contractors or which builders can perform or have been performing in the county. I can go all the way back to the 1994 building code. It's the last time this sentence was ever put in the code. It states that the intent of the code is not to generate a special category of citizen that could benefit from the use of this code. It has been my concern ever since that was taken out that we're creating an environment where there is a perception or a reality that only certain people can afford to build in California, and that bothers me. I don't like generating any negative perception or any favoritism, and our building department has labored long under the idea that some people got favors and some did not, and that's something I'm not prepared to tolerate. However, I can put that board back. It doesn't have to go into a motion. If you want to give me direction as the board to put it back, I will. But my understanding on this is that it always generates some negative sentiment when you run out of room and someone can't put their card in without taking someone else's card down. I don't want to be the hall monitor for the cards or the.
Sir, I get it, and I agree with you about, the public's never easy. I will buy a larger one for you. And then I'll expand it if you run out of room. And I'll pay for it myself. May
I offer a counter proposal?
I
We
just
haven't-
don't want to debate it. I want it up.
I have a proposal. Hear me out on this because I think it generates the appropriate perception and accomplishes the goal. We're currently moving forward with a program to provide pre-approved plans. I'm hounding my designers weekly to get those plans. If we have pre-approved plans, we can have vendors who have seen those plans and offered their names onto a list that we can maintain for people who've seen those plans and can offer services for anything in the county related to construction. That accomplishes the mission of having anyone who wants to participate advertise and also participate in the program of providing information to facilitate the housing market. That generates more business for them without us having to maintain a plaque or a board.
I think that's actually an issue. Us going through the building department and maintaining a list of, that opens us up from my perspective. But.
So, well, I guess I'm not sure that was a commitment to what Supervisor Stopper said. Okay. Stopper, you want to make a motion?
If you wish.
I know I'm bringing a little something else in, but I mean, this is part of the problem. You know, we need to support businesses across the county. And the part of the reason that we're having a hard time maintaining some of these small businesses. And it's not your intention, Doug, but we need to take extra steps, even if it's kind of pain in our butt to do it. And it's easy.
We can place the board back, but I want to address something else. The customer service in our department is better than it has ever been. And we are trying to make more advancements and streamline further. And it's always been at a cost. It's always been at staff time. We've always done it willingly because whatever is easier for the community is easier for us to process. So the morale at the front counter is great. The staffing was at this time well balanced. Okay, and we've had a lot of positive comments. So I don't want anyone to think out there that our customer service or business friendliness is suffering in that regard. But if you want this board on the wall, I'll put it there.
That's not the debate.
You will have your board.
That's not the debate. And I will say right now, one of the newer gentlemen at the counter, some people that I've talked to that have done some plans through recently were like, you know what? He doesn't always agree with me, but he always comes right to the counter and answers me and moves forward on getting the plans, going to where they need to go. So I've had compliments to those ends. And so that was not my intent, Doug.
Thank you
My
for that.
intent is us taking the extra step outside the customer service and providing economic.
Thank you for the clarity. Thank you.
So I will drop that end of it if you will put it back up, and I'll move it as stated.
We have a motion and we have a promise. So we have a motion by Supervisor Stopper, second by Supervisor Pollendorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Health and Human Services Agency, you're up. We're going to start with item number 29. You need time to set up? Need time to set up? All right, got 3 minutes.
Item 29, informational item, Health and Human Services Agency, receive a presentation on the Calaveras Health and Human Services Agency Strategic Plan 2023 through 2026.
Good morning, Chair Garamendi, members of the board, Corey Allen, Health and Human Services Agency Director. Along with me today is Health and Human Services Agency Assistant Director, Michael Magana. The strategic plan that we present today is the culmination of 3 years of deliberate, relationship-driven, and integrated planning, and it's been a meticulously crafted document backed by several years of data. 3 years ago, when I had the privilege of joining this Calaveras County Health and Human Services team, we unified our vision to reinvent our agency, and our focus was clear, and that was to provide unparalleled public service and to enhance the health and well-being of all Calaveras County residents. Our reimagining journey took flight when our executive team, which is comprised of 3 deputy directors, one overseeing public health, one overseeing behavioral health, and one overseeing social services, alongside key program managers and compliance analysts. And we came together and did a Dare to Lead curriculum facilitated in order to build relationships, in order to increase the confidence of our leadership team, and that was to empower the leaders with courage in their roles and to foster trust within the teams throughout our organization. We followed that up with a strengths-based leadership facilitated program, which we also pushed throughout the organization in order to really focus on how we work from our strengths. And the overarching objective was to create a culture of openness, mutual respect, and integrity. Our journey to reinvent Health and Human Services was also comprised of 6 facilitated deep dives into dissecting issues, finding solutions, and mapping out resources. The objective, again, to foster trust, also is to gain a deeper understanding of each other's roles, how they work together, and to identify gaps, focusing on formulating long-lasting solutions. This paved the way for what you have in front of you today, the creation of our brand, mission, vision, value statements, and actionable objectives that we're going to present. Our vision is empowered individuals, strong partnerships, and thriving communities. And so with that, I'm going to pass this over to Michael Magana.
Good morning, honorable members of the board. Michael Magana, Assistant Director of Health and Human Services. And I'm going to speed this up because I know you guys have a county frog jump to, or government center frog jump to get to. And I'll talk about really what those elements are within our strategic plan, what built that strategic plan, and why it's important for us. Our first step was to, and Corey alluded to that, it's been about 3 years with the strategic planning process that we went through. I pulled together members across 3 divisions to participate in a rebranding or reimagining of our agency, which developed our vision and our mission. And it really got the buy-in from staff because they voted on all of these. They got to see several renditions of a vision, mission, and organizational values. And they voted on what they thought was most important and got them to work and motivated them to do the work that they do each and every day. There are 5 core values. I won't read each definition of those, but we kind of think about them in the acronym of EPIC WIN, which is equity, purpose, innovation, connection, and well-being. And again, values are what brings our employees to the workplace and also the work that we provide each and every day to members of the community and each other. This is the image that depicts what we often see on the outside. If you think of an iceberg, when we're out in the community doing outreach, when we are out and have our county logo shirts or agency shirts, that's what people see. But the most important thing here is what people feel. Underneath is what really matters because they are our vision and mission and core values in action. And that's what people feel when they walk through our doors or when we're in the field engaging with community members. As part of the strategic planning process, we have 5 guiding principles that help to build and create that strategic plan, including having a holistic approach, looking at integration as the key center of that, looking for improved health outcomes, considering equity and inclusion, using resources wisely, as we talked about earlier. You know, there's a certain level of uncertainty happening with the economy, with the governors may revise, and there's all kinds of factors that we have to think and approach things wisely and considering the use of those resources. And most importantly, we do that through collaboration and partnerships with our community, and that we needed to keep in mind when we developed our strategic plan. The plan introduces 7 goals. Again, these are all surrounding key areas that we know work. They focus on those collaboration and coordination efforts. It's important to be on the same page, and communication is key to that. And every one of our actions needs to be community focused. It aligns with the county's strategic plan, the focus area on safe and healthy communities, focus specifically on improving the health and well-being of our communities, and other sort of areas looked at within the county strategic plan. And it was really the instrumental piece that guided this direction to build our own. But most importantly, I think, kind of it was alluded to that earlier, plans are only good as the paper they're written on. I think what's most important is how we're implementing the strategic plan within our agency. And so part of that, you will hear in a few moments from our deputy directors how they're putting the strategic plan into action. For us, it was the creation of the strategic plan. That was our first step. Developing a comprehensive plan to integrate social services, public health, behavioral health, because, we can do much more together than siloed divisions and departments. And because of certain circumstances, we need to rethink how we integrate those services, how we can work better across the agency. And we have so much talent with our agency that complex issues require complex solutions, and that is only done through a multidisciplinary team approach in addressing that within our agency. Another strategic goal is to address the social determinants of health. The Surgeon General in 2023 came out with a report on social isolation, which talks about the lack of relationships with others and little to no social support or contact. It's actually, in that study, they identified risk factors that we don't often think about when it comes to social isolation, but it's been linked to heart disease and stroke. It's been linked to depression and anxiety, suicide and self-harm, type 2 diabetes, addiction, dementia, and early death. And so that resulted in a grant that we received from the California Department of Health to look into what that looks like in our community. And at the fair, if you're attending the fair, we are actually exhibiting a photography project that we led with older adults, talking about what their experience is with social isolation. And it's called Golden Connections, and you can see that in the art exhibit at the fair. And they use imagery as well as powerful narrative to talk about their issues and what they experience, and also how technology plays a role in that. I think what people are most excited about is the development of the first county app or agency app focused on engaging and educating the community. We needed a place that delivers information at people's fingertips. We like to think of, not having community come to us, but meeting them where they are. When it comes to all of our programs and services, it delivers information on food assistance. It delivers information on employment opportunities. It's really instrumental in communicating to our public. So there's certain features related to this app, including buttons for older adults and people with disabilities that includes resources and services tailored to that population. And it's instrumental also in a way that when it comes to times of emergency, we can put information on there related to emergency shelters, cooling centers, warming centers, that'll be, again, at people's fingertips, and we can push what are called push notifications out to people who've downloaded the app. to get those communication messages as well. People can simply go to either the App Store or their Android store, App Store, and download the app just by searching Calaveras Health and Human Services. Now, I would like to invite 3 of our deputy directors from Behavioral Health, Public Health, and Social Services to talk about the ways in which their work aligns and anchors to our agency's strategic plan and that of the county. So first, I'd like to welcome up Wendy Alt from Behavioral Health.
Good morning again, Wendy Alt with Behavioral Health, and I also have David Guerin here with me to talk about some of the other projects that we have going on. I would say one of the biggest things that we have that really goes to the community education and informing the community this year, we're focusing on just getting behavioral health information out there. You'll see that we have this year had a first ever wellness event on the county campus, and that was great for the first time ever. And we also have 2 individuals, one from behavioral health and one from law enforcement, that were recently trained in mental health first aid. And soon they'll be able to go out to the community, to schools, wherever it is that they're requested to provide that course out in our county, which is the first ever. No one else has anybody from law enforcement that provides this, so we're excited to be innovative in that area. And also on the workforce and retention piece, we have 5 clinical staff who will be awarded in total over $60,000 to staff to help towards their student loans. So those are kind of the big deals right now. You want to go on data?
Sure. Good afternoon. My name is David Guerin. I am our operator as a data analyst for the Behavioral Health Department. I've talked to a few of you before. Definitely nice to see you again. A lot of what I do is primarily reporting for grants, state and federal mandates for what we do with our clients, but I also integrate and am working on what we call like the health information exchange within the state of California, onboarding with what's called a qualified health information organization, so we can do coordinated care efforts with not only within our own agency, but for our clients and our community partners, so the local hospitals in Sonora and Amador County, integrating data for our clients, and then also working on integrating with CDCR so that we can do coordinated care efforts and reduce recidivism rates for individuals that are within the jail, and so we can provide services before they're actually released from incarceration.
A few of the other things we have are another grant that is working with our jail. So when individuals come out of incarceration, that they have housing, that they have appointments set up, so they're not walking out onto the streets without all of those things. And so that's been a big lift, but eligibility within HHSA has been a huge help on that piece also, to make sure Medi-Cal is provided before an individual is exiting, so that they are able to get food or shelter, which is also part of our behavioral health bridge housing. So somebody who comes out of custody does not have to just sleep on the streets if we're able to engage them and provide them the support. So, yeah. All right, that's it.
Next, we'll welcome up Colleen Rodriguez from Public Health.
Good morning, Chair Garamendi. Good morning, board members. My name is Colleen Rodriguez. I'm the Deputy Director of Calaveras Public Health. I'm sorry for the voice. It's better than it was yesterday. Calaveras Public Health, we regularly integrate our agency into all of our efforts. We're very intentional about our collaborations because in the end, it's about serving our community. We believe that integration is the best way to do that. We regularly integrate social determinants of health in all of our approaches and all of our services. And all of our divisional trainings that we do, we offer them to the whole agency. Again, because we are working with the same community. And so it's really important that all of us are strong. The amazing team at Public Health created the 2023 to 25 strategic plan. This is very much anchored in the county plan as well as in the HHSA plan. If you were to look at it, which I'm happy to give you copies of, it will reflect a lot of similar things, values, and actions. It's important to have a strategic plan because it keeps us accountable to our community, and it also helps us prioritize and clarify our efforts so that at the end of this period, we can see what we have done and maybe other ways that we can expand. Another enormous accomplishment that frankly would not have been possible without the integration of our agency was this enormous 2023 community health assessment. This is on our website. I encourage everyone in the public to go there. If you'd like a physical copy, just give us a call at Public Health and we can send one to you. But this was an enormous undertaking that was really instrumental in us figuring out what the community thinks is a priority. And so again, it's about the community giving us our marching orders, telling us what they believe is most important. And that was really, this happened from the hard work of the public health team, but also from the collaborations that we have within the agency. And it's really essential. So it's fine to have a document that gives you information, but then what are you going to do with it? So we're currently actively working on what's called a CHIP, or a community health improvement plan. And this improvement plan involves getting community and other partner input on how we should prioritize the items within this assessment. And there's a meeting coming up next week on May 22nd in Calaveras. If people are interested in attending, please do. We have a lot of those meetings. And what we're trying to do is get the input from all of the community, our agency, and other county offices to figure out what it is that is most important to the community. Again, our work is really about serving the community in the best way we can, and we really lean into those partnerships within our agency to help us do that. And so I look forward to continuing that integration. I look forward to sharing all the things that public health is doing. There's a lot of exciting things happening. So thank you so much.
And before wrapping up, I'd like to invite Maylee Johnson from Social Services.
Good morning. Social Services has had a very exciting last 2 years or so, and we've got a lot more on the horizon coming. As a whole, the social worker career pathway, we're having a workforce shortage across the state. We're having a lot of trouble recruiting and retaining quality social workers who are educated and experienced in the fields of both adult protective services, child welfare, and mental health. So we partnered with Chabot Las Positas Community College this year to bring a program to Calaveras County employees who have the desire to grow in their career fields in social work, and mental health, and public health. The program includes tuition and books at no cost, remote learning opportunities, education and career coaching. And in addition to the program for our current Calaveras County employees, we also brought a program forward for young adults age 18 to 25 who have had system involvement either through child welfare, probation, mental health. And that program will allow these young adults who are interested in social services careers or human services careers to receive the benefits of the tuition, the free tuition, free books, and support, along with a stipend for living expenses, work experience placements, and then additional services to support their career growth in education throughout these social services programs. So we support them from associate's degree through bachelor's degree internships, master's degree programs through the Title IV stipend program, and then we also have a clinical licensure program that supports them getting their clinical licensure after they graduate. So we're really trying hard to build our workforce and assist our local community youth who are interested in serving their own communities, be able to come up through the county systems and really develop. Social services envelops both adult services and children's services, which is a big system. But our adult services team focuses on meeting the needs of the seniors, disabled adults, and veterans in our community. They focused a lot on connection this year and really working to create collaborative teams to help our most vulnerable adults get their needs met in the best way possible. So we've created an interdisciplinary team of community-based organizations and agency organizations where we bring people together to talk about our most high needs clients that are touching multiple systems and really come up with some solutions for those adults on how to best support them so that they can stop coming back to our systems time and time and time again. We really want to help strengthen and build that up. And part of it is reaching out to all of the people that help in this work and not just sitting it in one social services department or one law enforcement department or one mental health department. We're really trying to bring that together. And our adult services team will be speaking at World Elder Abuse Day at the state in Sacramento about this process because it's very innovative apparently across California. And so we're going to be sharing that practice out. Our child welfare team has been working really hard to develop, to implement now a comprehensive prevention plan to prevent children from coming to our child welfare systems. This plan will be presented a little more in detail in the State of Families presentation that's going to follow soon. But we really centered this plan on integrative work and creating a system of care for all families in Calaveras County. The goal is to reach families before the crisis, to educate and strengthen families, and to build strong partnerships that allow seamless access to services. Because in child welfare, if we're saying, please don't send them to our door, we need to provide somewhere for these families to be sent, somewhere for these families to access, so that they don't end up in our systems later. We need to get much further ahead of this game, and that's really what we're trying to do through this plan. Ideally, that will be accomplished through strengthening our mandated reporter education, our community education around when to report abuse, what that looks like, making a very big distinction between what is a poverty issue that should be supported through the community and what is actual child abuse and neglect. So we're gonna work hard on that this year as well. And utilizing a closed loop referral system that will allow feedback to be sent through the network of partners so that people don't get lost in go seek services here or wait, you need to call this person or that person. It's really going to streamline that and create an integrated approach to service delivery for families that is really going to focus on the needs of that specific family and not just their expertise. So that's going to be a really big success for us when we get it up and running. Yeah, I'll explain more in State of Families. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. So thank you to Wendy and to Colleen and to Maylee for your input on that, and David as well. Really, I just want to wrap up with acknowledgements and thank each of the persons on our team that really invested a lot of themselves in order to come up with this actionable plan. And that includes Robin Carter, Stacy Johnston, Terry Lane, Maylee Johnson, Jessica Wargard, Kyrie Biker, Tony LaFagia, Wendy Alt, Lee Kimball, Colleen Rodriguez, and Grace Cadenas. And with that, we are here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board regarding the presentation? It's not an action item. Mr. Hopper?
I can wait until after any public comment or anything.
All right, Hondor? Very well, are there any public comment in the room? This is not an action item, but this will allow public comment.
Sorry, I just had one piece that I forgot to mention earlier. Talking about integration, public health and now behavioral health have both gone out and gotten a community service vehicles. So public health obviously has their mobile clinic, and behavioral health just acquired our mobile crisis unit. I don't know if all of you have the opportunity to see it, but we'll be at the fair this year. We're going to be there all the way the whole week. The vehicle will be out there. Come check it out. It's not fully outfitted yet, but we do have 2 workstations in there. We'll be out in the community trying to work towards providing 24/7 crisis to the public, which, you know, is going to be great for a community of our size.
Thank you. Is there other public comment in the room? Seeing none, is there any online?
There's no public comment online.
Very well. Any other comments from the board before we move on to the next item? Seeing none, thank you very much. Excellent. We will move on to item 28.
Item 28, action item, eligibility and employment services. 1, receive the first CalWorks Systems Improvement Plan report for the period covering July 2021 through June 2026. And 2, authorize board chair to sign related certification.
It's on. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Margot Ilanumi. I'm the interim program manager with Eligibility and Employment Services. I was previously covering the staff analyst position. And under that role, the state rolled out the CalOR, which is the CalWorks Outcomes Accountability Review. It's a process more in depth on monitoring individuals moving through the employment services program and becoming self-sufficient. So CalOR is local data-driven program that facilitates continuous improvement of the county CalWorks program, mainly focusing on the employment services by collecting data, analyzing it, and disseminating that outcome through different reports. The continuous quality improvement, the CQI cycle, is a learning process for all those involved. The CalWorks System Improvement Plan, which is what I'm presenting today, serves as a guide to how we want to reach our goals and achieve those during this current cycle that we're in. The goals remain in place, but the strategies may be revised as we go through it. If there's any changes made to this process, we will be running that past the state CDSS program and also the Board of Supervisors for approval on that. So through this process, I conducted a huge county self-assessment of the employment services program. So I'm going to go over just some few county demographics that were achieved through that process. So just an overview, right? We're a small community, we're a small rural community with little pockets, and we span over 1,037 square miles, 1,020 of that being land, the remaining 17 being water. We're located in the northern eastern part of the Central Valley. We're huge in natural resources and rich history, which brings tourism to our community, which benefits bringing part-time and full-time employment. However, with that, the downfall is that's part-time employment, it's temporary. So it does have an impact on those individuals that are working in that industry, and those are the individuals that we're seeing impacted in our programs. So some of the other demographics that I have is just kind of a quick population based on the 2017-21 American Community Surveys. Our population is at 46,221. 79.2% identified as white. Within our CalWorks population as a whole, 75.8% of the CalWorks cases are reported as white also. In our community, 13.1% identified as Hispanic Latino. And then within our CalWorks caseload, 13.3% of that reported Hispanic. So just our community is in line with our CalWorks caseload, right? We're kind of matched. We don't have huge disparities in that portion of it. So those were kind of some key things I wanted to point out in our demographics, that part of it. Coming into the unemployment rate, we're very close to where the state's at. Unemployment in 2021 in Calaveras County was at 5.7%. The state as a whole was at 7.3%. The education attainment and the median earnings reported through 2020, it's interesting enough that those individuals in our community that have high school graduate or less have higher earning than the overall state's population in that category. And then as we get into those individuals who hold a degree, you start to see that shift where those now are Calaveras County residents are earning less as a whole, and then the state of California has a little bit higher population than that. Within this, the household income in 2020 was $67,054. As a whole in the state was $78,672. So there's a little bit of a difference there as it compared. The CalWorks program, those work eligible adults with zero income in our caseload was 78.25%, compared to the state at 60.2%. So we're looking at really wanting to try to improve and engage those individuals through this process. The deep poverty, which is 50% below the threshold, we were at 5%, 5.5%. The state as a whole is at 5.6%. So we're in line compared to overall what the state looks like. The child poverty rates, however, we are a little bit higher in that area. Reported in 2021, we're at 22.3% versus the state at 16.2%. Our homeless population in 2020 was at 834. This is the combined continuum of care of the 4 counties, which includes Mariposa, Calaveras, Tuolumne, and Amador County. And then the homeless population in the state overall was 161,541. This includes both families and individuals in this population. This is, I find really interesting. The state pulled together a hotspot map of where our greatest poverty is in our county. So what we did is we then overlaid where our offices are located within the county to see, are we reaching out and serving the population in greatest need? Our greatest area of poverty, that deep red you can see, is our main office is located right there here in San Andreas. And then we have our outstations, our West Point outstation, which is up in the upper part, which is the 3rd greatest area in poverty. And then down our Arnold outstation, it's in an area that's less identified, but it's close to that range up in the northern part of the county where people could access services to that office. And then the Copperopolis outstation, it's down in a lower poverty level stricken area, but it is reaching out in that outermost area. So those individuals who are living through that poor can reach out to services within that office and not have to drive into the main office in San Andreas. What we looked at under this program was looking at under the program manager's realm and then looking into, there's 3 staff analysts, 3 eligibility supervisors, 1 employment services supervisor, 2 system support technicians, an eligibility specialist, 3 under the CalAIN inmate program, and 1 eligibility specialist under our fraud and EVES program. So then we broke it down even further, and we're looking at this program identifies with the employment services, which is, there's a 1 lead worker, 3 employment counselors, and we have 1 office technician. So this report kind of heavily focuses on the work that they are doing within HHSA. Through this process, we collaborated and met with partner agencies. So we talked with internal staff. We did surveys with management. We reached out to Modular Job Training, our Learning Disability Evaluator, our current and former clients, the Calaveras County Office of Education, the SAR Board, Columbia College, Calaveras Crisis Center, the Resource Connection, and our Housing Department. With this process, we gathered information on how our program was doing and how we were reaching out to the community as a whole. Our strengths, we have the ability to come together to provide wraparound services. We quickly build relationships and collaborate with partners, being a small community. Staff's availability and follow through with agency partners and families. This came heavily, especially from the clients that we serve. The support staff provide to each other is huge to serve the community. We really come together and provide wraparound services to them. Some areas the community needs and areas for improvement came out was limited or lack of resources under our healthcare, transportation, childcare, employment opportunities, affordable housing, and our internet and cell service areas. Areas for improvement also, agency partner cross-training was identified so that we could better refer and serve people. No wrong door policy, and our client workshops. So we will be reaching out and trying to provide more services to our clients. And then staff training, trying to navigate challenges and emotional barriers related to the work that they're doing. So with that, we also identified some barrier removal services that are in need. There's lack of access to mental health services. Not all clients meet the criteria for behavioral health services, and there's limited number of private counselors in the county for those individuals. There's limited transportation, including public transportation, to reach those services. And with the lack of internet and cell service, it can impact the telehealth appointments that are available. There's lack of full understanding of the employment services program, so that leads to missed services and unidentified needs and supports. So there's identified need to build stronger partnership relationships. Lack of communication may have impacted on services offered to those clients, and a possible delay in services. And the huge areas, right, can we improve transportation and childcare, which is a huge struggle. So through this, there's performance measures that the state put out in this project, and there's 26 measures in whole. We're focusing on the first phase 0 and phase 1 measures. And then what the state directed is for counties through the self-assessment that we did was to identify what measures we wanted to focus and work on. So we met with the group, presented numbers to them, and the employment services group decided the engagement rate would be the strategic area to focus on. With the engagement rate, we did a period renewal through April 2021 through September of 2021. They wanted a base model for gauging us in our improvement. That 6-month average was 57.4%. So the measure was selected because we feel that if we engage individuals, it leads towards success, their goal achievement, the confidence and self-worth when someone is attaining goals and reaching self-sufficiency is huge. And it will also reduce our sanction rates in our program. So through this, we used the SMART goals and we came up with some equity goals also. So with their engagement rate, I pulled numbers from March 2022 to July of 2022. And that 5-month average, we'd already increased it to 64.2%. And just more recently, we've actually come up with a 6-month average from January through June of 2023. Our 6-month average is 73% compared to the state's overall of 26.7%. So we're much higher than the state, but we still want to continue to increase that engagement rate, which is what this whole system improvement plan is focused on. Our goal is to increase by 20%, which ideally, if you look at the numbers, we've already reached that goal before we've even started implementing the next 2 years process of inserting some of these new services that we're going to be doing. So with this, the changes that we've already have implemented, we're assigning a lead worker targeted case reviews, and she's assigning the appointments. The initial appointment she's scheduling for the staff to meet guidelines. We have induction training established now for this group, and some partner meetings have already started being scheduled quarterly. Our SMART goals, we're going to implement ongoing client focus groups. We're going to incorporate clients focus groups in the West Point area to try to reach that rural poor population to make sure we're providing equitable services across the board. We're going to develop partner agency cross-training, and we're going to create specialized training to engage clients with part-time and full-time employment and self-employment. And that concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions for me?
In the greater Valley Springs area, there's just for 95252, there's 13,460 people. Overall for that area, enlarged past the 95252 area between Valley Springs, Rancho Calaveras, that end of the county, well over 15,000 people. From going through our blocks and census data. That's 1/3 of the county population. Mm-hmm. I understand hitting the areas that are representing the most need at the same time. The most population to be hit is having outposts there. Why don't we have one there?
And I can speak to historically in the past, we did have an outstation in that area. Way back when it first started, I actually was manning that back when I was in eligibility. So there was a need and we saw that. I think we have considered trying to put one back in that area, but it's been difficult finding a location for that. So it's something that worth exploring and looking to see if we can bring that back. Our outstations are valuable in the community. So I think it's something we can definitely explore and to look to see if we can do that.
Well, community outreach is part of your strategic plan, is it not? I mean,
yes.
It's like, we just went over the strategic plan. I mean, there wasn't much there, but that was one of the simple things that was there. Mm-hmm. And you hit 1/3 of the county population by having one there.
We can definitely.
And there's available space.
Okay.
Whether it's affordable is another thing.
Thank you, Supervisor Stopper. Other questions or comments from the board? Supervisor Hubbard?
Thank you. I'd like to ask, the Visit California numbers just came out, and we brought in 2023, 269 million. Visitors brought in 269 million into the county, which is 10% over 2022. My concern is that the employment level for hospitality workers went down 8%. So I'd love to chat with you at some point too, and your ideas on how we can turn that around, because hospitality is obviously huge within our county.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is an action item, or there public comment on this item in the room? Is there any public comment online?
There is no online public comment.
All right, I need a motion to authorize the board chair to sign related certifications. Moved by Supervisor Follendorf. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Hubbard. Sorry. All in favor? Aye. Carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And moving on to item 30. Haley.
Item 30, informational item, Children's Services receive a presentation about the state of families in Calaveras County.
Tony here. Some comments. Sat through the other.
Could I ask what the green ribbon's for?
It's on, okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
She said my mic's on, so I won't get in trouble. Good morning, almost afternoon. Again, Maylee Johnson, Deputy Director, Social Services, presenting on behalf of the Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras Subcommittee of the Subcommittee Family Wellness Coalition. Our goal for the Family Wellness Coalition is prevention of child abuse in Calaveras County. Our vision is that every child should grow up safe, protected, and loved. And our mission statement is to improve the well-being of families in Calaveras County through safe and healthy relationships with home schools and communities. These are the reasons for child abuse prevention in Calaveras County. As you can see, historically, Calaveras County has higher allegation rates than the state of California and the national average. Allegation rates are when child welfare receives reports of abuse from community members, families, mandated reporters. Of the allegations that we received in 2022, we received 928. Only 10% of those were actually substantiated as child abuse or neglect. The remainder were found not to be. So that's part of our problem. The cost to Calaveras County for these substantiated child abuse reports is $39,800,000. 17% of our county budget. It would send 4,040 children to preschool. It would pay for 271 youth to receive a 4-year college education, and we could purchase 101 medium-priced homes in Calaveras County. This is the cost breakdown. The majority of it is the lifetime productivity that we lose in children that are abused or neglected consistently. The impacts of a child last for a lifetime. So abused children are 77% more likely to require special education in our school systems. They're 59% more likely to touch the criminal justice system. And they're 200% more likely to need to access public assistance at some point in their lives. We would like to move in Calaveras County from a reactive system to a proactive system. And I talked a little bit about that earlier. Our goal is to help families before they're in crisis, to create sustainable community pathways so that families can access services easily and quickly without a lot of being bounced back and forth. We did a community survey in 2023, and we had 46% of parents and 26% of seniors respond to our survey. The majority of them were in districts 1 and 5. And we focused on the social determinants of health, which is how I'm sorry I'm skipping these through, but they're all into this other spot in the prevention plan. So we came up with these 4 pillars of need from that community survey. And so the 4 pillars are affordable housing options, substance use treatment, childcare resources, and mental health resources. That is what our communities are asking us to stand up in a sustainable way. So what we don't want to have happen is we introduce some great program or service and then we have to take it back because we've lost funding or we don't have the people. We really want to create sustainability to combat the poverty, social isolation, and the lack of support that some of our residents are reporting to us. Our target population for the comprehensive prevention plan is addressing substance use disorders, especially with co-occurring domestic violence, supporting families and children with acute behavioral health challenges because we've seen a rise in our young people in their mental health issues, and expanding supports for families where they can access services easily and quickly outside of a system. To do that, we're creating community pathways. So what that means is we're proposing to develop, with support from our community partners, a navigation system where, as I mentioned, the closed loop referral system that will connect all of our organizations to each other, those have to go somewhere. So in creating this navigation model, we will have trained navigators that will receive these requests from the community or from the mandated reporters or whoever that is, that will be able to reach out to families and help walk them through some of our complex systems and really get them to a place where they can be self-sufficient on their own. These are the tangible goals of the Child Welfare Comprehensive Prevention Plan and what the Family Wellness Coalition through Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras is working on this year. We are working on bringing a closed loop referral system to Calaveras County. We are working on a community response guide, and what that does is it helps mandated reporters understand when to make a child abuse report and when to refer to community supportive services. So that is done through a child welfare serving assessment tool, and it's something that we're working on very closely. That ties into the concept of mandated supporting. It changes the way we train mandated reporters when they're looking at child abuse and really helps, as I stated earlier, make that distinction between like what is a poverty issue that needs concrete basic services and what is actually child abuse or neglect. And that mandated supporting training and programming will assist with that in our mandated reporting communities, and the community's response guide together will help to make those good decisions. So hopefully less people will be coming through the child welfare doors. The different programs we're trying to stand up with our community partners are intensive home-based services to help provide mental health support to families that are experiencing really high levels of crisis that will not be served by our county behavioral health. So for whatever, they're not eligible for that service or they don't qualify, we have a separate outlet for that. We also want to relaunch our differential response program. What that is when we receive a child abuse report that we cannot respond to, we need it to go somewhere so that we don't keep getting calls on the same families. And so that's what differential response does. It takes those reports and goes to help stabilize the families long-term. Our other goals are to create spaces where agencies can collaborate and focus on how are we all serving all of our residents, because historically these have been focused on foster youth, probation youth, people that have already touched our system. We want to expand this further so that people aren't touching systems. And then to continue to focus on supporting programs that build community for families. This is a picture of the Children's Fair we were at this year. We created a support system wall that had a lot of different supportive groups throughout the county. And the end result we're hoping is in a reduction in the number of children needing child protective services in any capacity. Increasing protective factors in children and families to help build and support the families where they are, and then an increased child and family well-being. Any questions? I know I went through that kind of quickly.
You're
but
great, Mary. Thank you. Questions from the board? Supervisor Stopper.
When you presented your pillars, the affordable housing one, kind of hard. tough cookie to break because it's something needed in the majority of California. Providing that service, the state's going to start requiring us to make something happen when infrastructure, for example, is a major. I brought this up earlier, infrastructure on building and, you know, and providing those type of things. I mean, majority of residential units are already in place. The county's not into buying said residential units. We're not going to, I don't believe. And the state's given this uncrackable nut to Health and Human Services. I pretty much stopped going to these meetings a while ago, seeing how everyone, because they're going nowhere. And it's not, I'm not going to say it's the fault of Health and Human Services. I just think it's a bad direction by the state to push that type of thing to build the idea of how we're going to build houses cheaper through a social services agency, you know, and then, but although that's what we're trying to achieve is to address these issues that you're doing. So, good luck. I'm sorry. I had to say it. And it's getting up close to 12 and I know Mr. Garamendi's looking at me like,
I'm just glad
tie it
I
up,
have the
bud.
privilege to walk through this with Corey and the rest of the Health and Human Services Agency team as we tackle these problems one at a time.
Yeah.
Because it is our role, right?
Right.
We achieve these things that seem unattainable. We do it every day.
Ye-
So we will,
Affordable housing, tell me when you achieve it, because it's not achieved.
oh, we'll figure that out as it goes along
Good
as
luck.
best we can.
I just want to thank you. I want to thank Corey and all the Health and Human Services team for these wonderful set of presentations today. CalWorks and Strategic Plan. It's very inspirational. I know you guys put a ton of work into it, and it really shows a cohesive plan. I want to thank you personally for all the work that you do. You're dealing with oftentimes our most vulnerable population at a moment of crisis. And that is hard work, and I think it's appreciated. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of the board, and I'd like to thank all of the Health and Human Services Agency for their work today and for bringing this forward to the board. I know we were rushed, but I did take the time to read through all this material, and it was very comprehensive, and I sincerely appreciate it. So if there's no other questions from the board and no public comment, it's kind of a leading. And no public comment online. I'd like to thank Health and Human Services, Maylee, Coyne, Wendy, Michael, everybody, Corey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all being here today and doing all this hard work. Thank you. We're going to move on to supervisor announcements. We will break after supervisor announcements and return to closed session, so we will not be returning to this room. Supervisor Hubbard.
Thank you, Chair.
Mike.
Really quickly, I just want to do a shout out to Animal Services for being at the Mutt March. It was fantastic. I had a wonderful Firewise Town Hall up in Arnold on the 4th, meeting with Agency on Aging on the 9th. And I wanted to give two shout outs, one to the Sheriff's Office for helping us. Western Cave Conservancy came to clean up natural bridges, to take all the graffiti away and all the garbage, and the sheriff was there to help, which was awesome. And also, Manuel, we wanted to talk about this Saturday, we're doing a new presentation with the CCTV and the film people. That's it.
Thank you. Supervisor Palmer.
Was it last week? Yes, last week, there was a panelist presentation to all of the producers that had signed up with the UC Extension in collaboration with all of the counties in that JPA over in Tuolumne County, had various presentations on the slaughter processing from up and down the state to give insight on what would possibly be the best option that the producers would like to see in the region. On top of that, as of today, the region applied for a grant thanks to Tuolumne County Economic Development Director Robbie and Supervisor Half for leading that. Part of the grant application was having a commitment from a private industry, and Rawhide stepped up to the plate, and they have done a letter of commitment with the grant application. That grant application is approximately $100,000 for a feasibility business plan to go forward with that for the region. And that was really hard work on the Tuolumne County side. Also, the tribe has also expressed interest, and the tribe has been participating in the last couple meetings on that. The other thing, and I've been talking to the CEO about bringing back a more in-depth detail where we're at in this moment of time, if the board is interested, to bring this board up to speed of the progress that both Calaveras County staff and Tuolumne County staff have put into this along with the UC thus so far. So if that's something that the board would like to see, I can work with the CEO to bring an update. The other thing is, I think, was it last meeting and 2 meetings ago, sorry, my dates are getting blended, I would like to see if the board would entertain bringing back the temporary badges for cannabis.
922? 922?
Yeah. Please. And that's all I have to report.
All right, what we're going to do at the end is, for items that we want to bring back, we'll just poll. Actually, we just got 2 right here. Is this board interested in having a presentation update on the slaughterhouse?
Yes.
Great. And Amanda voted on 922 with the majority, so it's within our rules to bring it back.
Yes.
Well, they were the majority.
Exactly.
They were the majority, so.
Correct. So.
So she can call the question?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that work?
I understand that. We'll bring it back in the next agenda. It'll just be another agenda item. But without getting technical, yes. Very well. So we have those 2 items. Supervisor Toffenelli.
I have nothing to report.
Supervisor Stopper.
Sir, I would like to call a question to the board if they would like to bring before us public on Wagon Trail on direction moving forward sooner than later.
I agree. I think we should update the public on Wagon Trail and where we are. And we should make it a possible action item.
Or direction, yes, action, direction. Is the board interested in that?
Definitely.
Yes.
Sure.
All right. I hosted the frog jump down at the Capitol with Lori. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of jumpers. Everybody got a frog jump, and we're about to adjourn. Madam CEO.
I just want to say I attended the Albert Michelson exhibit opening at the Angels Camp Museum. If you haven't been able to see it, it is phenomenal, and I highly recommend it.
I hear it's wonderful. Council? Madam Clerk?
Nope.
All right, we are going to break. We're going to return to closed session, so let's meet back in closed session room at 1 o'clock. Thank you.